Lucy, so another online one today. So I suppose we're starting to get used to it now. So what we had there today was a bit of mostly pentatonic stuff. Okay, so we've got first of all, you already know what to do with the metronome challenge. All right, so we've got the pentatonic scale at 60 BPM, and I want to see how much faster than that you can get it. Okay, so we know you can do it at 60. So I've got my metronome here on the computer. So let me just turn that up a bit. So 3, 4. So nice and steady, just like that. Okay. Now remember, if 60 BPM, if you're getting caught a little bit, knock it back to 50. Once you find it easy on 50, 55, 60, 65. So, but no shortcuts. Okay. Every time you play it, it's got to be nice and even, clean, no sloppiness or anything like that. Because if there's sloppiness, then that just means you need to go back a bit with the tempo, get it just right with a slower one, and then go back up to that faster speed, and then you won't be so sloppy. Okay, so remember I was telling you, it's kind of like a lot of people they want to play fast, right? They want to do the sort of the heavy metal stuff. Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, all those fellas, right? So what they'll do is they'll sort of start off here and just go, all right, and it's useless. It's no good because it's sloppy. It's all over the place. So what you'd be better off doing is doing something like this. Okay, so that's slow, but it's steady. So then, if you can do that, you could do a bit faster, a bit faster again, and so on. So it's a lot cleaner that way. Okay, so that's always the best way to do it: is bring that speed up real gradually. All right. So you know what to do there. All right. And so, lastly, I'm just going to go through the little phrases we did there because obviously I can't write it down for you the way we're doing it here. So, the first one you did was a really nice one. So, you started off, we're doing the open pentatonic, which is E minor, okay, E minor pentatonic on that one, because it starts with an E note. So remember now that's minor, so it's not the E major pentatonic, right? That'll be a different thing. We'll get into that later, okay? So the note you start on, it's always the minor of that note, okay? So if we're starting, so we did another one up here on the 7th fret, starting with a B note, so that's the B minor pentatonic. So back down here, we had this one. Nice little phrase, 4 notes, very simple, but it's the way you play it that makes it nice and smooth. Remember, I was saying, if you just did this, that's not very nice. It's not very good. But this little bit of the pull off here, the slide, and the extra pull off there, that's kind of nice. It's nice flow to that, right? That's what really matters here, right? So you could play it as a once off, or you could put it in, make a little riff out of it, sort of. So something like, well, maybe a bit faster. And you can play it at whatever speed you like. So that's the first one. Another one was we're taking now what comes ahead will decide what finger you use. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you're coming up here and you've got a note down here coming up, it doesn't make sense to use the first finger, right? Because then you have to jump back really quick. So it makes more sense to use the third finger, 2nd fret to 4th fret on the G string, coming up here underneath. Okay, so we got the slide, open E string, open B string, hit the G string again, it's 4th fret, pull off, and then 2nd fret on the D string. So that's. And if you hit other strings in the meantime, it doesn't matter because all of those open notes are in the scale anyway. So that's going to sound fine. So then one more we had was in B minor. Actually, we had two more here. So that was the first one. Bottom note on the D string. So here's our scale. Same scale, just in a different key, just different position, that's all. So then we have the bottom note on the D string, going up to the top note. Same on the G string, sliding up, and you can hit it just as you slide it as well. So that's really just that note there. So look, so again, looks like we've gone outside the scale here, but we haven't, because that note is also this note. So that note is very much in the scale. It's just we don't want to slide up to that. We want to slide up to that because it's easier. So we're going sliding up and then adding in on the 10th fret, middle finger, B string. Then last one was so we got top note. Now probably use your little finger for this one. So top note on the E string, pull off to the bottom note. Now the reason I'm saying top note and bottom note, right, instead of 10th fret, 7th fret, is because you could just as easily do this down here. Or here. So this, the 10th fret is, or the top note and bottom note applies anywhere. So that's why I'm doing that, okay? So top note of the E string, pull off to the bottom note of the E string, top note of the B string, sliding up 2 frets, and then hitting that top note on the E string again. Okay, so there's the phrases. Now, so just because that's why the pentatonic scale matters, okay? It's not just, you know, to show off that you can play a scale, obviously, right? It's what you can do with it, okay? But you can't do much with it unless you can play the scale nice and quick, nice and smooth, okay? Well, smooth, more important than quick, all right? So we'll leave it at that. I'll talk to you again.